but it's really quick. You see that? I mean, I just skidded the front tire as well as the back. Hey, this is Russ. Yeah, we're back out on the road again. I decided to just kind of ride around this general area. That was an electric XP that just rode past us. Yeah, there's more and more people with e-bikes, I'm telling you. We're noticing it definitely. So today, I can't go too far out. We have the kid is back to do the fence. Yeah, I mentioned to you guys before that we hired a kid to paint our fence. Now, you might think, well, that's been a while ago. Yep, it has been. He has 3 sides to paint. He finished one side. But then his family went out on a vacation for a week. And then this past week, it's been so hot. So yeah, it's been a couple of weeks since he's been back to do it. But he's back now, and he's starting up on the second of the 3 sides. So I've got to stick around. I can't go too far. Otherwise, if he needs anything, I won't be available to come back to help him out. So we're just going to ride around the streets, ride around the general path in the area, do a little bit of talking. I'm going to address a couple of questions that have come up, of course, over time, as we usually do. One of the questions, well, actually, okay, here's an interesting thing. You know, most often when I get comments from people, they're always saying I'm riding too fast. Yeah, I don't think so. For me, I think I'm doing okay, all right? So on the streets, you'll find that I'll typically do, I don't know, let's say between 18 to 22 to 23 miles an hour, something like that. That's okay for the streets, I think. I mean, the streets are typically, between 25 and 45 miles an hour, so I think I'm doing okay. But still, most people say, you're going too fast. Well, okay, well, maybe I'm still young at heart, even though I'm 63 years old right now, right? So I tend to like my speed. But interestingly, I had a comment from somebody that said, you're going too slow. I had to laugh. Yeah, that was refreshing to hear that. He said that I was going too slow and for conditions on the road. Yeah, I agree with them, actually. I am going too slow for conditions on the road because, you know, if cars are doing 40, 45 and you're only doing 20, you're kind of going too slow. Yeah. So, yeah, thank you for that comment. Gave me a good chuckle. Yeah, I usually try to ride. I'm saying drive again. I try to ride a little bit faster when I'm on the streets that are, you know, busy streets. Because I don't want to be on the street any longer than I have to. I want to get on there and get off of there. So I don't like hanging around any longer than I need to. Okay. Let's take a ride over here. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of cruising the general neighborhoods. So yeah. So as far as speed on bike paths, now I get a lot of comments about this too. You know, I'm always reminded that the bike paths are a 15 mile per hour maximum speed limit. I know that. Do I break that? Yes, I do. Admittedly do. Sometimes I'll hit 18. On occasion, it might hit 20, but more often than not, it'll be around the 18 miles an hour range. And it's not that I really want to go faster on the bike path. Sometimes you do. I mean, you try to maintain a speed. I mean, okay, all right, you can look at my speedometer here. I'm just going to keep going forward here. I'm going to try to maintain 15 miles an hour using my throttle. Let me see where 15 miles an hour is. Look, we're already going over 15, around here. You know, that really feels like I'm crawling. And it's very hard to maintain it. I mean, I'm really holding my thumb really hard in one position to try to maintain 15 miles an hour. That is not that easy to do. There's times that you're just going to go a little bit faster. I'm going to turn over here. And again, I don't know the neighborhood. I'm just figuring roughly where I'm probably headed, just in direction-wise. So on occasion, okay, if you watch the speedometer, on occasion it goes up to 17, 18. That's real easy to break. It's real easy to break that. Okay, so it's very hard to maintain 15 and under on an e-bike. So why do I go so fast? Because let me drop down to some speeds that people have told me I need to do. They said, when you pass people, you need to be under 9 miles an hour. This is 7 miles an hour. This is what it would look like. Okay, that's 8. Sorry, I can't maintain the 7. Let's go slower here. Pass people up at 6. They said. Okay, this is 6 miles an hour. If I'm passing people at 6 miles an hour, I feel like I'm crawling, and I will probably fall off the bike. Really, I'm not kidding. There's a certain speed you need to have in order to keep the bike upright, that you don't end up tipping, right? My minimum speed probably is 6, but realistically it's 9. 6 is like I'm ready to fall, okay? So 9 would be my bare minimum, I think. So if I'm passing people at 9, are they gonna say that you're going too fast? Probably. I can't satisfy everybody. So here's what I'm gonna do, and here's what I'm gonna go forward doing. If you make comments about my speed, I'm just not gonna answer it, okay? I'm just not gonna answer it. If those comments come in, any of these negative comments come in, I'm just not gonna answer it anymore. I try my best to answer questions as much as I can, but I'm tired. Really, I'm telling you, I'm tired of answering the same questions over and over. I know it's not from the same people, it's different people all the time, but for you guys who are long-time Russ is Right viewers, just know that if you see a comment that there's no response from Russ, that's probably because I'm just not going to bother to answer it. It's just too much. We've gotten to the point now where I might not be able to answer everybody's questions anyways. I'm literally on the computer all the time answering questions. So I'm just going to answer some, all right? Some questions that I think are maybe new questions that we haven't seen before. And that's about it. So if I don't answer your question, know that either I don't have the time to answer a question, or it's a question that's been asked before. I'm just not going to answer it again. So, anyways, what else? Let's talk about some better stuff here. Okay, since we're on the negative things, let's talk about some negative stuff again. Now, I have another bike that came in for review, but you're not going to see that review anytime soon. Here's why. FedEx damaged the bike. Yes, they did. They damaged the bike. I want to take a right, but they've got this dog here, so I'm just going to slow down a little bit here first. Okay, she's turning, so we're moving. So, FedEx damaged the bike. They stood it up on end. You know what I mean by that? They stood it up on the vertical end. Who stands a bike box up on a vertical end? Think about that. Who would do that? I mean, it's a bike. It says it on the bike, on the box, right? And so you tend to think, well, let's see, bikes have 2 wheels. It probably needs to go on the long end on the ground, not on the short end on the ground, standing up vertically. Well, the box was so damaged, it came in late by 1 day from what their promised date was for delivery, and it was totally taped up with packing tape, meaning just clear packing tape, okay, on the damaged end. Well, that damaged end was all crushed and all taped up, and so when the FedEx driver dropped it off, and I saw it, I said, "What about the damage?" You know what his response was? What damage? I says, well, look at the box. I says, the box is totally crushed in. He goes, that's just the box. Then he got in his truck and left. Thanks, FedEx. This is why I love FedEx. Yeah, didn't even acknowledge it. He said it didn't matter. It was just the box. So when we got the bike out of the box, yeah, the front fork was crushed. Yeah, the area where you would attach the axle of the front wheel was bent. Both sides were bent. I couldn't even put the wheel on. So now typically, I guess if you have shipping damage like that, you're supposed to contact FedEx directly. That's okay. Good morning. So I didn't contact FedEx. I contacted the bike company. I just said, hey, this is what had happened. I took photos of it to document it, and I asked them, what should we do? Because quite frankly, I could fight it with FedEx, or they could fight it with FedEx. But I wanted to find out what they wanted to do. Now, to get the review done, which is more important to the company than the fork, quite frankly, they decided they will send me. Good morning. They would send me another fork. All right, now I've never replaced a fork before. I told them, I says, I'm gonna need help in replacing this fork. Some instructions. I've never done it before. So they kindly recorded the sequence of things that you need to do in order to replace the fork, so that I could do it. And after watching it, I believe I can do it. It doesn't look that difficult to do. But if you've never done it before, the first thing in your mind is, can I do it? Do I have the tools to do it? I think I have the tools to do it based on what they show there. Thank you. So yeah, I'll be replacing the fork, and then I can continue on and do the review. So I don't know how long that's going to take. I don't know whether the fork is coming from China or whether it's being shipped from their shipping area in California. So we're just going to wait. Yeah, it's nothing against the company. It's not even the company's fault. It's FedEx's fault. So I don't know if they'll put a claim into FedEx or not. I mean, obviously they're a large enough company and they may just absorb it. I don't really know. So that'll be up to them. So so that's going to delay this review by a couple of weeks again. I've been waiting for this bike too. We've been waiting to get a new battery on it because they upgraded the battery a little bit. Not much, but a little bit. And so they said, we want you to have the latest battery on there. So we waited for that to happen. And then this happens with FedEx. How do you like that? It just pushes it even further back. So but we've been in contact for a couple months now. Yeah, a couple months now, and it finally shows up damaged. How you like it? I mean, I know the frustration if I were to buying this bike and I paid a lot of money for it and it came in damaged, I would be quite upset. Not that I'm not upset, okay, but you know what I mean. When you haven't really paid for anything and it comes in damage, you don't feel that much of a pain and loss. But when you've paid money for it, yeah, you feel really bad about it. But so anyways, that's what's new happening with the review end of things. There's also a couple other items, accessory items that have come in for review as well. So I'll be working on that. I'm waiting for one more item to come in, and then I'll probably do that review before I do these bike reviews. A lot of stopping today. A lot of cars out or something. So the hydraulic brakes, let's talk a little bit about that. I'm still getting used to it. I mean, it is so powerful of a braking system, but very light in weight in terms of pulling it. I mean, when you pull on the brake handle, I literally could stop myself with one finger pull if I wanted to. I mean, I could never do that with a conventional brake with a cable, but it's so light in touch, you can do it. I mean, I've seen mountain bikers before simply with a single finger on their brakes. Now I know why. It's because they really don't need much. A single finger would brake the bike, but it's really quick. You see that? I mean, I just skidded the front tire as well as the back. I didn't really pull hard on it. I could never do that with the mechanical disc brakes, and then I also had the hydraulic brake calipers, which still had the traditional cable. It's just the calipers are hydraulic. The cable line is still a traditional line. So yeah, it's a very good upgrade. I would say if you can afford to get a bike with a hydraulic brake option, do it. Do it. It's a huge difference. Now others have told me that too. When I put on the hydraulic disc calipers on the Rad Rover, they were saying, why didn't you change the whole thing? Well, I didn't know how to do it. And I figured it would be a lot easier to leave the cable line there and just change the calipers out, which of course it is easier to do. But yeah, it doesn't have the same amount of pull. So yeah, I would say do it if you can afford to do it. Or buy a secondary brake system. If your bike doesn't come with it, find out whether you could change your brakes out with a hydraulic brake. I think that's a good upgrade. Now, of course, it doesn't do anything to your speeds and your range and the feel of how you're riding, but just knowing that you can stop, if you needed to, quickly, that is. Let's turn on this street here. We've never gone down here. That feels good. It feels like I'm safer, right? And who knows, one day I might need to have that fast braking. I know one time I was actually on the trail. Okay, this dog is going crazy here. I don't know if you saw that. It's a huge German Shepherd. He's just going around in circles. He wasn't mad at me. I think he was looking at that car and going around in circles. Anyways, one time I was on the trail and my brakes kind of gave out. It didn't have the ability to pull because I think the brake pads weren't set up right or something at that time, or it had loosened up or something like that. And so I'm coming up and there's these two ladies with dogs and they're eating up the trail. There's no way to get around it. I'm hitting them with the bell and everything, trying to get their attention, and they're not moving. So I'm thinking, I'm going to run into these people. So I start heading towards the outer edge of the trail, trying to basically ride my bike off the trail. And I'm pulling on the brake as hard as I can to try to get it to react, and nothing. Luckily, they finally move at the last moment, and I was able to get by. And I didn't end up killing myself or killing the dog. That was when I finally decided, okay, I've got to do something with these brakes, and that's when I bought those hydraulic calipers. I said, this is not safe anymore. One day, I will do a video about how to deal with your adjustments on your brake pads, because I think that's kind of important for everyone to know, whether it's a mechanical brake or the hydraulic brake. So I guess we can't go through here. I think that's a school or something. Let's go down this way. So, anyways, yeah, get better brakes. It makes a difference. So it's finally cooled off a little bit today. The last couple days, it's been in the 90s. It's been really, really bad. And I rode yesterday. I did a ride with a friend, showing her my bikes. She's seriously considering buying a bike. She's not sure what she wanted to get, so she came over try out bikes and talk about bikes to find out, what's the, let's go this way, what's the deal with e-bikes. So I gave her an education on it, and she got to ride my wife's bike, which she really liked. She didn't try any other ones. When she saw the Rad Rover and she saw this Magicycle Cruiser, she said they were big. I told her, yeah. I said, that's pretty much what a lot of the women say. And, many of them will buy a bike like this only to end up selling it because they just don't feel comfortable on something this large. Realistically, it's not that large. It's big, but I think many of them could handle it if they wanted to. But anyways, she said maybe the KBO Cruiser, which is a KBO commuter, or maybe a foldable bike. So after talking it over, I told her the pros and cons of either one. I said that the KBO commuter bike is kind of stealthy. You really don't know it's an e-bike unless you really look closely at it, because the battery's not sticking up. It's pretty much aligned to the down tube, and he says people probably won't even say anything to you as you ride past them. But he says, but if you have even like the folding bike, people know it's an e-bike. You'll get the comments of cheater, or you're not allowed on this path. You know what I'm saying? And of course, she didn't like that idea. A friend of mine's also said the same thing. He didn't like the idea of being called out while he's riding his bike. I says, well, then the KBO would be the way to go, right? So she asked me what is the advantages and the disadvantages of the bike. So I told her, basically what I had said on the review of the KBO. I says, it's got a very smooth transitioning from speed to speed, but it doesn't have the kind of power that one of these bigger bikes would have, or even the folding bike would have. So I also said if you want to transport the bike, you're going to need a bike rack and a hitch on the back of your car. The hitch wasn't a problem for her because I guess one of their vehicles actually has a hitch. But I told her, I says, well, the bike racks aren't cheap either. They're about $500 or so. And I said, or you can get a motorcycle rack. Those are typically cheaper, by the way, if you got a motorcycle type rack. It'll hold a lot more weight. Think about how heavy a motorcycle is. But you have to strap those down. So you use straps and you strap them down. Whereas the bike racks look a little bit less intimidating of, if you don't do the straps right, is your bike going to fall off. But it costs a lot more. These things are typically $500 or more. So she didn't like the idea of the cost of that. So I says, okay, then your option would be what? A folding bike, right? If you have a folding bike, then you just fold it up and stick it in your SUV. She liked that. So in the end, I think she's going to end up trying to get the Magicycle folding bike, which is the Jaguar Rundy, the new Jaguar Rundy bike that's coming out. I told her it's not coming out till July, so you'd have to end up waiting. But I said if you pre-order it, then of course you're on the list to get it once it comes out. I'm expecting to get one of these bikes for review, but I says I won't even get it until the end of July, so you're not even going to be able to see it if you order it, or you take the word of Magicycle and from what they're telling you on the website that it's going to do this, this, and this. And if you're okay with that, go ahead and place a pre-order, because they do have a discount price on the pre-order. And I gave her the Russ 100 code, of course, and the affiliate link, which she will use to help me out, because essentially I was the one that kind of showed it to her, right? So anyways, I think that's what she's going to end up doing. Another friend of mine was more interested in the KBO, all right? And he said that he liked the idea of the KBO simply because nobody's going to hassle him if he rides that bike. That's absolutely true. I don't think anyone really would know. And after riding it, he was really happy with the bike, and he said that's the one he was going to go with. So yeah, everyone has their different opinions, you know. I told him as well that it didn't have quite the power. He wasn't interested in the power. That wasn't important to him in comparison to other factors. And it is lighter in weight as well. Okay, we're going past there. It's lighter in weight and easier to deal with. So he said he prefers the KBO Breeze. So everybody has their own opinion, and you can't dictate one or the other. I would have thought he would have wanted something more powerful, but I was wrong. Power was not his interest. He said that his knees were starting to go. He's getting up there in age as well, but not as old as me. And he says riding his bike is something he always liked doing, but he says it's just getting harder and harder, and going up some of these hills is really painful for him to get up. So he says the KBO seems to be able to do what he needs it to do, but he still wants to be able to pedal and put some effort in. He doesn't want to just throttle all the time. You know, sometimes you'll see me just throttling. A lot of times when I'm talking to you guys, I am throttling as I think about it, more so than pedaling. And that's probably because I'm thinking about what I'm saying, and I don't want to be concentrating on multiple things at the same time and trying to function. So to me, sometimes it's just easier to throttle it as I talk to you on these videos. So don't think that I don't pedal, because I do. Many times I will pedal and I will also throttle at the same time. Let me turn on my light, I didn't do that. Or sometimes I'll just throttle, so I don't have to think about things. So anyways, that's his story. So yeah, for the last couple of days, I've had an opportunity to talk to people about bikes. I had a lot of fun. You know, I gave some information to them that they never knew, helped them make a decision on what bike was best for them, and of course they had a chance to try out the bikes as well. So, but anyways, for you guys too, just as a reminder, because I haven't said it in a while, all of the things that I have on my bikes, okay, all of the accessories, they're all listed in the description of the video. If you go to the description of the video, you'll see Amazon affiliate links, you'll see discount codes, you'll see a whole bunch of stuff listed on the description. So, you know, sometimes people ask, what kind of mirrors do you have? These mirrors, okay, just to let you know, these are Magicycle's mirrors. You can buy them, and nothing says you have to have a Magicycle bike to buy their mirrors. You can just order the mirrors if you want. You know, they'll sell you anything you order. Okay, they don't care. let me turn left here, and they give you 2 of these for $39. Now, not every bike can put two of them on. If you notice here on the right side, the left side's usually okay. You usually have your pedal assist control here, and then you can put a mirror. But on the right side, let me throttle up a little bit here. The right side, you have your grip, and then the half throttle is usually here, and then your derailleur is usually here. So what I ended up doing is I moved the derailleur way forward here to stick the mirror over here. But if you notice, my shifter, I'm sorry, I said derailleur. My shifter is tilted now because it needs space. And you notice there's a gap here. That's because when you downshift, this lever has to have space to move. You see how close that is there? It has to have that space in order for it to move to the next positions. So that pushes it even further that way, okay? If you don't mind that, then yeah, you can put the right mirror on too. Now the right mirror, of course, is not as level. This is, if you look at where this is to this, okay, it's a little further in. But if you look at the left one, it sticks a little bit further out. So it's not going to be totally even. The right one will be further in a little bit because of all this stuff you have on the right side, okay? So anyways, the rest of the other things are always available on the description of my videos. So just look in there, you know, if you want to find out what kind of bike pump do I use, what type of helmet do I have, what type of camera do I use, you know, all that kind of stuff, it's all listed in there. So you could always find it there, okay? Yeah, where are we? I don't. I'm looking and dealing with all this stuff here. I'm not even looking at where we're going here. So I don't know where we are. Street cleaning. You know how I feel about that. Ugh. Keep my eyes kind of closed. Yeah, it pumps up a lot of dirt and dust. So if you're if you're riding anywhere past the street cleaners, it's gonna go into your eyes. Alrighty, I think we're good enough for today. What do you think? Yeah, just a quick, easy ride. Sometimes I just like taking the bike out and riding along. I mean, we don't have to go anyplace special. Just get out on the bike a little bit. Anyways, if you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. We are moving up in the world. I think we're close to about 6,700 subscribers as of this recording of this video. We'll probably break 7,000 very shortly. So I appreciate it. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. So I'll talk to you guys next time.